welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us for our True North Sustainable Food Fund info session. My name is Alex Barlow. I'm the VP Programs here at the Canadian Food Innovation Network, and I'll be taking you through this program today. You will notice we're in a webinar, and so you're muted and your camera is off. We do have the chat if you'd like to introduce yourself. I have my colleague Jaleh, who is kindly posting helpful links throughout the presentation in the chat. And she's already noted and asked that if you do have questions today, we are absolutely very happy to take them. We will likely deal with them at the end because it's hard to sort of be a one-woman show reading questions and covering all the slides. However, please put them in the Q&A function because they do get lost very quickly in the chat, and it will be very hard for me to go and look for them. So the QA functionality is the best spot to put your questions. So I'm just checking to see how many of you are now here. Okay, good. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off and get us started. A little bit of housekeeping for those of you who would prefer to see a translation in French, because today's session is going to be in English only. Si vous voulez participer en français, tu peux joigner au programme Wordly avec les instructions ici. Using these instructions, you can get some live streaming service and use this tool to choose the language of your choice. The session is being recorded today and will be posted after the fact on the program page. And so that's a tool you can go ahead and utilize as well, after the fact. So we'll go ahead and get started. If you're new to the Canadian Food Innovation Network, welcome. I do encourage you, if this program does interest you, as one of your first steps to go and become a member of our network. Our core membership is free. And we're a national not-for-profit focused on building an innovation-driven food and beverage sector in Canada. We look primarily at post-farm gate innovations. So when we look at technology or new tools and whether or not we can support them, one of the first considerations we look at is whether or not it applies to our members in food processing, distribution, food service, or grocery retail. So if you're here today with primarily an agricultural innovation that really is destined to help farmers or producers primarily, or is largely involved in the growing of food, welcome. But I do look a little further down the supply chain with our programs. And so just something right off the bat that's usually helpful to be aware of as we look at the post-farm gate food sector. And our work has really, on the funding side, focused on funding transformative food tech, Canadian grown solutions to food sector problems. So our membership is over 8,900 strong today, goes from coast to coast. We're a national organization, and we're here to help connect you to resources, people, partners here in Canada to help grow your business and overcome innovation challenges. We're a national team ourselves, so we're also available coast to coast. We have staff in pretty much every time zone. And our funding is here to sort of help with usually one of the biggest barriers to innovation, cash funding. It's usually a big element on everyone's sort of plans is how are we going to pay for this? Some of our members, just highlighting them here, we welcome members from across the ecosystem. So if you're joining us from academia or from, a relevant not-for-profit, or from a food tech company or a food and beverage processing company, you're welcome to join us and be part of the network and hopefully leverage some of our tools and capabilities to help grow your business. So today we're talking about the True North Sustainable Food Fund. This is a national program. The application is available in both official languages, and you can apply in either French or English. And it's being created with the support of Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada under their Agricultural Clean Technology Program Research and Innovation stream. We're very pleased to have their support to create this unique funding opportunity. We're one of about 6 other organizations that received funding under this program to distribute to their members, and we're one of the only ones focused exclusively on the post-farm gate sector. So if you are on the call today and you're looking at agriculture, don't worry, there are other groups offering this program looking at ag tech, and we'd be happy to put you in touch with some of them if you're interested in exploring that. For this particular program, for CFIN, we are looking specifically at solutions that will be deployed in food manufacturing or distribution. Traditionally, as I noted, we've covered right through to restaurants and even grocery retail, consumer apps, things like that. This program has a little bit of a narrower focus. So if you're here today looking at opportunities for restaurants or, or opportunities where, the main benefit is not going to be derived or felt by food manufacturers or distributors, then you may find this program, not to be such a great fit for you. And that's just because of the focus behind the fund that we applied to and secured. So we've split the fund into 2 streams. What we learned in surveying our members is that when it comes to clean tech, specifically in food, it's that sometimes very large projects are hard to get off the ground. Many pilot partners or businesses either don't have the cash or the ability to commit to a massive installation. And so we've split the fund into 2 streams. Our Spark stream is up to 100K in funding. It's a single phase application. It is open. It's accepting applications until July 15th. We're looking to provide decisions within 60 days of that date. You can start shortly after or within that 60-day period. And we're looking for you to be complete within a year, no later than December 31st, 2027. And it's a 50% grant up to 100K. So this is a shorter application process, smaller amount of funding, perhaps. So if your budget or project falls within that sort of amount, that's a great home for you. We've also created the impact stream. The impact stream is for larger demonstration projects. We're looking there for projects worth anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million in funding. We do have a preference for projects that range up to 500K. We do not have 10, 15 million in this program. So, that's one of the reasons why these very large projects, we really only have so much capacity for them. This program is a 2-phase application for the impact stream. So we're looking for expressions of interest to be submitted by the end of June. We'll provide you a response as quickly as we can. We're aiming for 30 to 45 days, and then we'll give you 4 to 6 weeks. And then you'll complete a full application and you'll hear back in 4 to 6 weeks. So we're looking, for that kind of money. We are looking to move pretty quickly and get this money out to you, to your projects to support your innovations. For the impact stream, the earliest start date is October 1st of 2026. All of the projects must be complete by the end of 2027 calendar year, so December 31st. And again, it's a 50% grant. So we're going to go through each stream, separately, and then some of the commonalities. For the next few slides, I'm talking about both streams. So you need to meet these requirements to be eligible for the program more generally. So to apply, First, you must be a Canadian food tech SME. You should have been incorporated for at least 1 year at the time of application, and you need to be the developer and the owner of the IP. You cannot be licensing this asset from, say, a Danish company. You can't be the adopter. So if some of you on the call are a food and beverage company and you've got a really novel piece of technology from a Canadian company that you want to install on your plant floor, the company developing the innovation is actually the applicant here. And so that's who needs to be the applicant. We're looking for you to be able to finance the project. We reimburse you. So with funding like this, you do need to bridge the expenses. And you need to be a CFIN member. If you're on this call and you're not a CFIN member, I recommend starting with that as your absolute very first step, because that will give you access to our application form. It's okay if you're pre-revenue. So many of our funding recipients are scaling companies, startups that are still in pre-seed, seed, or even Series A raises. That's totally fine. You could be pre-revenue and still apply to our programs. You're not eligible if you are currently the lead applicant on an active CFIN project. If you're another not-for-profit, a crown corporation, or a government department. If your project is largely occurring on a farm level or agricultural level, then you're not eligible. As I noted, you've got to be in processing or distribution to be part of this particular program. And you're not eligible if you're licensing your intellectual property or the primary piece of intellectual property you're looking to demonstrate, or like from a foreign entity or a third party. We do look as part of the application for financial documentation. Financial documentation, I mean, we love seeing 2 years of financial statements that are either audited, review engagement, or notice to reader. However, I noted, we do accept earlier stage companies. Alternative types of documents we'll consider are term sheets, bank statements, letters demonstrating your financial position. If you have a partner who's defraying the balance of the cost for your project, a letter from them. Those are things we typically look for to prove your ability to finance the project. So, what kind of things do we fund? CFIN generally funds research, development, and demonstration projects. So we typically are looking for innovations where you've got a really good proof of concept, and now you're looking to put it out through its final research stages. Sorry, I skipped ahead there. Or you're looking to put it into a partner's facility to prove it works and demonstrate the ROI, the impact, etc. For the True North Sustainable Food Fund, we ideally are looking to support the deployment of clean technologies in food processing or distribution operations. So our ideal project is an innovator, a food tech company, who has a pilot partner who's willing to be a test site. So I'm building X technology. Company A really has a lot of interest in that technology. It's going to help them, say, on significantly reduce their natural gas usage, and they want to install that technology in their facility. That's the base structure of projects that we're looking for in this program. All of our projects must involve R&D, and a lot of time R&D gets broken down into something called technology readiness levels. For us, we're looking for technology readiness levels of 4 to 7 in this program. And I think later on I have a slide on TRL levels, and I'll take you through that. So an eligible project, as mentioned, you should be working at a TRL of 4 to 5 at minimum. And you're targeting, hopefully, a TRL of 8. You've proven it in a commercial deployment or in a pilot environment by the end of the project completion. You should be demonstrating some novelty in a food processing or distribution context. So either it's the first time you're going to have a deployment of this technology on say, a food processor's plant floor, or it's the first time application of technology that you've proven, say, in, I don't know, wood manufacturing or pulp and paper, and now you're bringing it into food to demonstrate it here in the food sector. Either of those cases would be eligible. Again, we're focused on food processing and distribution, so no agricultural, food service, or restaurant, and be complete by December 31st of 2027. We have identified some priority areas. They're listed here. They're further detailed in the program guide with some examples. The examples are not an exhaustive list. They are meant to give you an idea of what we think might come up under those technology areas. If you have something that falls a little bit outside of this, but does have good impacts around energy usage or, is a strong clean technology, we're happy to consider it, and you can reach out to us and get a sense of where you'd be best to put it. If you're looking at tech that's already well established, LED lighting, I don't know, a Mura boiler that's much more efficient than, your existing outdated 50-year-old boiler. If these are commercially available, in widespread use, they're not going to be eligible for our program unless they're being somehow meaningfully integrated with some kind of novel system. So, we're really looking for something new that has yet to be demonstrated in the sector and to have the opportunity to hopefully be the force that helps you demonstrate that tech and overcome some of the barriers. So, where are we coming in? We're looking at value-added processes, we're looking at food ingredients, and we're looking at supply chain distribution. So if you're thinking about where to apply your particular program, this is, or project, this is the area in which we are quite interested in supporting. And as I mentioned, we're looking for certain TRL levels. So we're looking right now for a technology that has been demonstrated at least at a small scale prototype and or beyond. And we're hoping that by the end of the project, you will know whether or not you have you'll have a demonstrated system that's operated in an actual food environment, whether it's at a pre-commercial scale or a commercial scale. So eligible costs, everyone always wants to think, okay, well, what will they pay for? What can I get support of? We will cover direct labor, so technical staff, and we generally require timesheets and pay stubs to support those hours. We'll pay for subcontractors and consultants, materials, equipment, and other direct costs, things like, I don't know, a software license that you require for the project, shipping of materials to a test site, or travel, as long as you fall within the costs and expenses allowed from the government. And if you don't know what that might be, it's things like set government mileage rates, no business class flights, no alcohol, things like that. What's not eligible? Sales, marketing, or commercialization activities. So we're not here to send you to a trade show or to pay for your business development person to go knock on doors to sell this technology. We won't cover any general administrative, finance, or HR labor, security or food safety certifications, entertainment, alcohol tips, your cost of preparing the application or claims, any in-kind costs or costs already funded by another program, because that will likely often break our stacking rule. Capital assets. So there's just a note here. If you're purchasing equipment under this program, that's totally fine. We just have a bit of a rule within you get 1 year or sort of the period of the project, you can't dispose of or sell the asset. So if you buy something and, I don't know, decide to sell it before March 31st of 2028, you do have to notify us and get our approval. So stacking, which I brought up, stacking is this sort of sometimes an art of bringing in multiple funders on the same project, multiple government funders. So you might be thinking about IRAP. You might be thinking about my tax. You might be thinking about, even some of the other groups who received funding from this Agri Clean Tech program. We do allow stacking. The rule is up to 75% of project costs can be stacked. You do, in the application, have to tell us what other programs you're going to leverage for the project. Maybe you're going to look at My Tax or IRAP or things like that. You want to watch the stacking level. If we're giving 50% and IRAP is giving 80%, that stacking number doesn't work anymore. 80 and 50 is 130. Oh, my mouse is going today. Sorry, everyone. So, you have to watch your stacking rules, and we're happy to chat with you about that. You cannot stack our funding with other groups who have the same funding source. And if you're doing SHRED, don't worry. SHRED does not impact this limit. And your SHRED consultants generally will see that you received funding and then reduce the numbers down for you. So if you are looking to stack and you're not sure or you want to talk through something, feel free to reach out to us. Our email is going to be at the end of this presentation, but also throughout the program guide. And so lots of opportunities for you to get in touch with us and ask us questions. So I'm going to go through the Spark Stream first. The Spark Stream is the smaller program and the more streamlined process. So Spark, if you want to apply, the first thing you're going to go do if you're not already is become a CFIN member. Within 24 hours of you becoming a CFIN member, we will activate your account on our application portal, and you'll be able to log in and begin an application. So probably not a good idea to wait until the day before this is due to become a CFIN member because you might be stressing out as we activate your account. So go and check out and become a CFIN member. You could do it right now while you're listening to me. Once you are on our application portal, you will prepare and submit your application and submit it by the intake close date. I'm going to walk you through how to do that before the end of this call. As part of the initial submission, my team's going to look at your application. If you don't hear anything from us, that's probably good news, and you'll see its status move to under review as we score it. If we need something from you, we're going to reach out by email and say, hey, there's some issues with your application. We need some changes. Please log into the system. And you'll go right into your application and you will be able to edit it and see the feedback that we're giving you. Usually, your start date's too early, your budget doesn't make sense, or hey, you only put 2 words in this answer and it's worth 30 points. Are you sure you want to do that? Those are the kinds of things we'll usually reach out to you about, and we'll often give you 24 hours, 48 hours to make edits, and then the application has to be resubmitted. If you don't make the edits, we proceed with the review as is, and it probably is going to impact the overall scoring and sort of how competitive your application is. Once it moves into under review, we bring in both internal and external reviewers to score your submission. They operate under NDA. They're screened for conflict of interest, and they help us evaluate and score your submission. And then within 60 days, we will provide you with a decision, and you have the opportunity to receive feedback if the application is not successful. I can't tell you for sure yet if there's only going to be one Spark application intake. There may be another one, but I don't know yet, and so you'll have to stay tuned. And if you're not successful in the first round, should we have a second one, you are welcome, if your application was deemed eligible, to return and rework your submission. The application has a number of sections. I'm going to go into the questions on the next slide, but we have a project overview. That's very basic. The project title, the dates, start and end dates, who you are and how we can reach out to you. We're going to go into the applicant overview, which is your business profile, financial snapshot, incorporation data, some demographic data, sort of the usual stuff you might have to give in one of these submissions. Section 3, we go into information about your demonstration site. Where are you testing this? Who's going to be your pilot partner, and what some details about their facility. That is a scored question. Section 4, we have several questions, which, as I mentioned, I'm going to show in a second. And then we have the environmental impact calculator, which will allow you to quantify your base scenario. So what is the situation today with either the process or the facility where you want to install your technology? And what will be the situation in terms of energy use after the fact? So if you're helping a food processor move a bunch of food waste out of landfill into a new ingredient pathway, there's an opportunity there for you to identify what that food waste path is, what happens to it, and then we actually can derive some GHG emission impacts as a result of your technology, which helps us evaluate the impact of your project. We have the budget, the quarterly spend forecast, a work plan, and then you have room to upload your supporting documents and your financial statements. So, what are the questions we ask? How are we scoring this thing? All this information is in the program guide. And in the program guide, the assessment criteria are much more detailed. And so I really encourage you, as you're writing answers to these questions, to read the assessment criteria. They lay out very specifically what the reviewers are holding you against and how they're allocating their 15 points. So very often, easily half the problems we run into with applications is that people don't do this part. We are very clear about what the assessment criteria is. Use the program guide to formulate your answers and make sure you're addressing everything we ask for. So the first question we ask is sort of the pitch. What's the problem you're solving? Why is your technology a good one? What kind of improvements do you think your customers are going to see, and what's the value to them? So that should be really one of your strongest answers. You have 750 words to give us that. We're interested in knowing what the current TRL is, and we want to hear what's your evidence. So not just, oh yeah, I've done it at bench trials. What have you done at bench trials? How big is the unit? What were your results? When did you do that? What are some remaining risks? And what is your path forward? We want to know what the objectives are. It's, for most of you going to be a 12 to maybe 15-month project. So what are the objectives and milestones you're looking to achieve in that window? And where are you hoping to get at the end of it? Your budget and work plan should be clear. I should be able to tell what the expenses are. A line item that just says labor is probably not going to cut it. So you want to be telling me, hey, I'm going to be having a electrical engineer dedicate 60 hours to this project. So tell us what the expenses are with enough detail to evaluate. Your pilot location. So what kind of facility are you targeting? If you have a confirmed partner, you will receive full marks. We're going to have the impact calculator, which, as I mentioned earlier, I will get into later in this presentation, where you're going to outline your base case, your project scenario, and that will help quantify the environmental impacts of your project. We want to know who your target customer is. If you're, I don't know, a new high efficiency oven, then what is your target business size, and how many of them are in Canada, the US? What's your go-to-market strategy? How does this project help you move your business plan forward? And then your IP strategy. We're looking to confirm that you own the IP. What is the status of your protection of said IP? Whether or not this project's going to generate any new IP, and whether or not there are any intellectual property risks involved with this project. And then all of these questions have scoring associated to them. And as I noted in the program guide, the assessment criteria take up almost a full page and a half. So you can get a lot of guidance on what we're looking for and what your response should articulate. So Spark timeline. The applications are open. The few of you have already started drafts. That's great. The deadline is July 15th of 2026, and we will be notifying you in September of this year. You can have a start date within 60 days of July 15th, 2026. If you choose to start before we tell you the outcome of your application, it's at your own risk, but we are looking to be within that 60-day window, and we very often deliver. And your projects must be complete within 12 months, and absolutely none of our projects can go beyond December 31st of 2027. I'm seeing a question here in the chat about potentially a second round. If we have funding left over, we will open another round of this program. I have no information on when that will be at this time. We've got to run our first round first and see what happens with our applications. It would be very likely that it would be in 2027, early 2027, if we do so. So that's Spark. So shorter process, a little simpler, less money. And then we move into Impact, where more money, more complexity, and the application accordingly goes up in terms of sort of the scale. So it's a two-phase application process. You're still going to start by, if you're not already, becoming a member, getting onto our application portal, and then you're going to prepare an expression of interest. It looks pretty similar to a Spark application, but some things you do not have to answer yet. And then we will score your expression of interest, and we will notify you within 30 to 45 days whether or not you've been successful. If you've been successful, we will invite you forward and we will give you feedback from the reviewers. We are inviting the top expressions of interest forward only. And then those of you who are invited forward will complete a full application. Generally, we'll have about 4 weeks to complete it. The full application is basically you get a chance to update any of your answers, address any feedback you receive from the reviewers. You get to confirm your pilot partner. You have a new IP question, and then you actually get the chance to upload your calculator. You can download it at any time and work on it throughout the whole process, but it will be uploaded at the full application process, and you'll finish your budget and work plan. And then we will accept that, review the application, and it goes forward due to the project size to our Innovation Advisory Council, who will review all the application and all the scores and make a funding decision, which will then be communicated to you within 60 days. So a couple extra steps, but an opportunity to rework and done with the understanding that generally these harder projects are a bit trickier to kick off the ground as quickly as, say, 100K Spark project would be. So in the impact at the EOI stage, you'll recognize some of these questions. We've got questions about your pilot location, pitch, TRL validation, what's your project objectives and your technical approach to this project, who's your team, what's your commercial path, and what's the impact estimate. So at this stage, we're asking for high-level projections and some assumptions behind them, and you can download the calculator, but you don't have to submit it yet. So that is the EOI application phase, and this is how we're scoring it. And you can see some heavy points to your pitch, commercial path, environmental impact components. And again, in the program guide, the assessment criteria is much more detailed and gives you a lot more coaching around what we're looking for. At the full application, we're just giving you the chance in many cases to expand on your original answers, revise them, because you may have gotten feedback, but also hopefully your project is maturing and coming together. Your partners are committing, and so you're able to provide us a little more information. This is not a time to fundamentally reframe or pivot your project. You were approved on a certain scope at the EOI stage. We're not looking for that to change. So we're going to ask you to upload a letter from your pilot partner committing showing their interest. There's some guidance in the program guide about what that should look like. We have an opportunity for you to update your pitch, your TRL, your objectives, your commercial path, and then we have some new components around IP. You can upload the calculator and you can provide a full forecast, revise your budget, get everything sort of finalized and submit a full work plan. And so for this particular program, it's already open. You can access the impact today. The expression of interest is due towards the end of this month. The full application deadline is the 21st of August, and we'll be notifying participants in late September. So we're moving quick here, due partially to the time frame we were given by the funding program that we applied to. We're going to allow you to start your project date as early as October 1st of 2026, and then you have to be complete by December 31st of 2027. So a couple of program requirements is where I'm going to go into the calculator and show you a little bit about it, and you can download the calculator by going into an application and starting to edit it, and you could download a copy and start fiddling around. But what this tool is it is a mandatory component of the application. It's an Excel-based tool that CFIN engaged partners, Quinn and Partners to develop, and what it's really giving us is a standardized framework for quantifying environmental benefits and allows us to compare a base case. So today, what does that facility look like without your technology? And what does the project case with your technology on the plant floor look like? And there's 4 tabs and some which I'll walk you through in a second. But some key principles that you'll want to sort of follow is you want to be using operational data from your pilot site wherever possible. You want to document assumptions in the notes fields. We're looking for the base case and the project case to reflect the same facility, conditions, time period. It helps us draw that comparison. And we're looking at direct impacts. Don't, sort of downstream effects we're not overly interested in. And so I'm just going to pull the calculator here. This is what you can see here. And so there's an introduction tab, which you can see here and read through, and then you'll be providing some project information. As you select different fields, it does turn some things on and off throughout the application. So you'll put in some start and end date. You can just paste your pitch in here from the application, and then what priority you're applying to. So let's say I'm going to do energy and heat, and the rest would be no. And then I go ahead to the next slide, and some things will then again be highlighted for me. So what are the boundary definitions? What's the current process today? What is happening around energy or water or waste that is currently occurring at this facility or with this business that you're looking to pilot with? What will happen after your project? Give us a quick overview of what's the process you're affecting, what is the impact you're going to have on energy, food waste, etc. And then you can identify, and it has highlighted for you some areas in which will probably be impacted with your facility based on your earlier answers. And so it's telling you that very likely your project is going to impact energy consumption. So I'm going to say yes, and it's going to involve capital costs. Now you'll actually enter your data where you'll be outlining relevant information for your inputs and areas in which you can answer as many of these as are relevant to your project. So you'll be inputting what their current electricity, so let's say it's grid, and you'll be answering what the amount is today and the units, and then identifying again that it will be grid, what's the amount and the units, and that will derive some calculations on the dashboard. So for example, let's say I'm taking today I have some diesel generators running refrigeration, and then after the fact, I'm going to be eliminating that. Then that would then drive some savings on the dashboard. This gives you an opportunity to answer how you determined the base case, how you generated data for the project case, and how you would like to monitor data. And what will happen is based on your responses, there will be an impact dashboard that's generated that allows you to quantify your savings and sort of project what the impact of your technology will be. So that's the calculator. And as you're completing it, should you have questions, we're more than happy to answer you. And the intent with the calculator is that post-project, we will actually complete a calculator for your finished project and demonstrate whether or not the actuals align with the projected benefits, or maybe you far surpass them. This program is built around the government's mandate to look at GHG reductions, clean technology in agri-food, and impacting, the emissions as well as sort of the climate effects that agriculture has, and making the sector more sustainable, more efficient. And so that's why this tool is involved, is to help us and help you quantify those impacts. In addition to the calculator, for those who are selected in the program, CFIN is going to partner with Bioindustrial Innovation Canada to provide some additional project supports and business supports as you engage in this. We really want to see, and we know that the path for clean tech is very challenging. The path for commercializing food tech generally is already challenging. And so by bringing in these accelerator supports through BIN, we want to help you overcome key challenges like, are you able to, engage with investors? Have you thought through your pilot design, and have you maybe thought of some key risks or pitfalls? Or do you need some approaches, some work around your pricing and things like that? So with the aim of making you as commercially competitive as possible, CFIN will work with you to identify some priorities and opportunities where a BIN might be particularly helpful, and we will provide you with their services at no cost. So how to apply, and I've seen some questions in the chat, so I already know the first set of pitfalls is already coming up for people. You need to be a CFIN member. If you're not a CFIN member and you're not logged into our website as a CFIN member, you will not see most of the links on the website. So I will show you, for example, this is what a member sees who's logged in when they look at the True North Sustainable Food Fund. They see a button that says Apply Now. They see the guide. They see the frequently asked questions. They see the info session decks that you're looking at right now during this presentation. If you are not a member, you do not see that. And so it then will show you very little. And so if you do not see any extra buttons, it is often because you are, maybe I didn't do that right, you are not logged in. And so you really want to make sure that you've logged into CFIN, that you're signed in on Yodel to see all the links and the full program details. When you click the Apply Now button, you are taken to our application portal. It's a different website. I understand that sometimes a little bit confusing. This is a portal called Smart Simple. It is where we host our applications. It is also linked in the program guide, but it is through this site that you will go ahead and log in. And in a few moments, I will do a demo of how to access the application. So the program guide, as I mentioned, is a key resource. You really want to be using that to guide your responses. This is going to be a very competitive program, and so 3 words per answer is probably going to be a waste of your time. You are not going to be moving through with a successful application. In addition to the guide, we also have a team who can help you. There's myself, there's my colleague Jaleh, and very soon we will have a program manager dedicated to this program who can be answering questions or, help you work through some of the fiddly bits of your application. Um, I'll just show you first our team. I've seen a few of them on the call chatting with you, but across Canada, CFIN has 5 regional innovation directors who can connect with you and chat with you about this program and see if you're interested or if you have any questions. You can chat with them. They may also direct you to my team if your question is a little bit beyond their capability to answer, which sometimes, especially with more complex programs like this one, that happens. But not to worry, we're more than happy to help you. And so, how to use our application platform. So, key question. Uh, you absolutely, can get onto this once you're a CFIN member. We activate your account. And if you happen to be coming here the first time and you, of course, don't know your password, you can click the forgot password and it will trigger a password to be sent to you. And then you can set a new one and get yourself into the system. Well, that's not helpful, is it? Let's try that again. Excellent. I'm glad that worked the second time. That would have been a fun pitfall to work through together. So when you arrive, this is what it looks like for everyone. You have the chance to do a couple of things. First is you can set up your profile, which is who you are, your address, etc. And more importantly, you can set up your organization profile. This is where you'll put your website, details about your business, maybe your, Instagram account if you're so inclined. This information feeds into your actual application. So your website, your address, and your business profile are very important pieces of information. And we flag in the application, hey, if you want to update this, it's done on your organization page. Once you're done, you can press save, and I'm going to see, edit hit here. I press save, and now I can go back to home and start an application. So you will find a series of open programs. We have a few open at the moment, so take a second here, read the descriptions, make sure you're starting the right thing. I'm going to go ahead and say I want to start a Spark application. I'm going to click Apply Now, and it's going to ask me some eligibility questions. These are meant to help you not get all the way down to submission and find out you're not eligible. So you need, as I noted earlier in the presentation, you need to be at least 1 year of incorporation, needs to have a primary application with food processors or distributors, needs to be a clean tech, and do you own the IP? So I'm going to say yes to everything, and it's going to go great. You can proceed, and it's going to let me open the application. Here is, the application from here then follows these sections, the overview of the project, the applicant overview, the project partners. You can add the partner site information here, and then you answer this question. The application questions, which you'll respond to. The benefits, this is where you can download the calculator, work on it on your own computer, and then come back and upload it right here. Your budget, which you open by opening each of these. And then you can go ahead and add, like I said, electrical engineer. You can say 40,000 and so on, and press save. Oh, I gotta tell you if it's Canadian or not. And then it, will start to calculate that information. And then you fairly often want to be doing what I just did, which is save draft. and you'll see some of that material that I've saved here start to populate. Application files, if you have supplemental documentation that supports your application, great to upload it here. Your financial proof or statements, you'll upload those here. You'll read the terms and conditions, and you'll fill in your information, and then you'll press submit. This system is designed for you to be able to come here, work on this, and then be able to save it, leave, and come back. If you come back, don't go back to open programs. You've now started an application and you have one in progress. You can see I actually have quite a few in progress. So this is the one I just started right here. I started it, I just modified it on June 5th. And so this is where I would go to open it up again and keep editing it. So that's where you'll find it. The process to access the application is exactly the same for the impact. You just select impact and it looks a little bit different question-wise, but again, it's the exact same thing. But this is how the portal and the system works. Save often. And just another tip, it's not very friendly to 3 of you working on the portal at once on your application. So if you are collaborating with a few different authors on your application, come in or use the guide to create a Google Doc or something of your answers. Don't have multiple of you logged in, say as Jane Doe editing an application. Our system is not that advanced and won't like that. So that's how we operate the system. I'm going to go ahead and look at the Q&A. So if you have questions, this is a great time to go and find them. And I'm going to stop sharing and go ahead and look at those Q&As. I bet there's quite a few. So someone is asking, how do you define and evaluate food waste reduction projects where the impact is indirect? For example, through AI-driven demand forecasting that reduces overproduction and excess inventory. To be honest, that's probably not a clean tech solution that would be eligible under this call. So we are looking for direct impacts. So we've identified waste and circularity as an area of interest. It might be that your particular solution would be better suited in some of our other programs. And we do have a few others open, and we'll be opening more throughout the year. Someone's asking, would restaurants be considered? No, unfortunately, this program and the mandate we have under it is focused exclusively on food processing and distribution. I don't understand this question, so perhaps this person wants to resubmit it around independent of Agri-Food Canada grants, or have they probably closed it? I don't really understand, so I can't fully answer that one. Someone has asked, can municipalities apply? No. The applicant is the developer of the innovation. And so if usually municipalities aren't generally developing innovations and commercializing them. They're often adopting them. Maybe they could be a pilot case. That would be an interesting project. I'd have to see. But if you are looking at a project, like we want the applicant to be the developer of the technology. So you own the IP. This is your invention or creation, and you are looking to go put it in a facility to help address sustainability or energy usage or GHG emissions in food processing or distribution. Someone's asked, is an R&D functional beverage eligible? It's not a priority area where we've identified that it could be eligible. It's not really meant for a product in the sense of, at the end of the day, we're making a new consumer good. It's meant to help food manufacturers or distributors with their energy usage, with waste or water problems. So if you feel that that your innovation aligns there, you may want to consider it, but I would read the program guide and look at the priorities and see if you can address it. Uh, the Please take a look at the program guide for the priority areas. That's the best spot to go ahead and see a full listing of them. Someone's just asking about them. Can you apply as a small consortium of 2 to 3 companies? The program really is designed for a primary applicant who is the clean tech company. Um, I would suggest probably on that one that you reach out to us. It's meant to have only one applicant, so you may want to look at whether or not you guys could funnel the work through one applicant, or I'm not sure. I'd probably need more information to answer that. Someone says, if we work with a tech consultation company, we are the processor, while a tech consultation company owns the tech. Can we share the IP and have us apply to the grant? No. So I mean, the technology developer, the food tech company, should be the applicant. So I hope that's clear. The food processor or the pilot site is not likely to be the applicant. If you think you have a varying case on that, before we finish up here, and perhaps I can do that now, I can just share our contact email, and you're welcome to reach out to us and ask your questions more specifically. Someone's asking, are different grants from, say, the Alberta government or other programs stackable with the True North grant? It could be. As I mentioned, we do have stacking rules, and so you have to abide by those. But it could be that that would be an eligible program to stack with. Someone is asking, does the equipment have to be sold, or can this project fund equipment to be used only by the developing company in food manufacturing? I think what you're asking is, does the innovation that CFIN would help you demonstrate have to be commercialized and sold? And the answer is yes. If you are applying to this program to solve, let's say you're a bakery and you have an energy problem and you think you can solve it, and when you solve it, you're going to solve it for yourself and not tell anyone how you did it. That's not really a fantastic CFIN project, because we're often looking for the technology to be commercialized and shared or sold to other food and beverage manufacturers or distributors so that they too can benefit from efficiency and lower energy costs. Do you have to have a partner, or can you demonstrate the project at your own company? The program is designed to give you maximum points if you have a partner. If you are your own partner, maybe. I guess it would depend how competitive the program is. The real intent here is that a food tech company is showing us that they have an innovation that is very high value, because they have an industry partner who says, yeah, I need this and I'm willing to test it and put it on my plant floor to prove that, because that's, because I've got a need here that is causing a business challenge. Someone's asking about flexibility around the 1 year incorporation. Generally, no flexibility. Typically, companies with under a year of incorporation are very early stage and not yet ready to undertake a project of this complexity. They have challenges with the finance bridging and often do not finish their projects. And so that is why we've implemented that rule. Someone has asked, can I apply to both Spark and Impact with the same project? You could. You're not going to win in both with the same project, so you'll have to pick your path at some point, but you could hedge your bets and apply to both if you like. Someone has asked, does the $100,000 limit apply to the total project budget or the CFIN contribution? The grant amount is $100,000 and a 50% support level, which means your budget is $200,000 to get the full amount. I think I've answered this one already around Spark and Impact and whether or not you can apply to both. You won't be approved in both generally, especially with the same project, so you'll have to choose. You could try different projects. I'm gonna have probably a lot more projects than I have funding, so we're gonna pick the most competitive, and I think we would probably hesitate to fund the same company twice with the program. Uh, Someone's also asking about the reimbursement of the program. CFIN follows a quarterly reimbursement process, and that will remain the case for this particular program. Someone's asking, sorry, and this is a particular one, so I'm reading it carefully. How to evaluate impact where a better operation is statistical. For example, inventory loss at events due to complete power loss or failure of refrigeration system over a weekend. Is this a valid project type to submit as per the mandate of the program? Um, it could be. I don't think we have a rule or anything that would prevent you applying. You might just not see as strong a benefits as someone who, say, is replacing a constant running, say, large scale piece of pasteurization equipment or someone running very energy intense diesel systems. You're going to be up against perhaps some projects that may have stronger impacts. Someone's asking about pet food. Does it have to be human food or can it be pet food? CFIN typically reserves its funding pretty specifically to human food, and not because we don't think pet food is a great avenue. We just only have so many dollars, and the need is so great. And so we've tended, especially because of wider food affordability challenges in this country, we've tended to focus on human food. And so I would say that's probably going to continue here. Someone's asked, does a project focused on generating and distributing data that supports food processors and sustainability by filling a gap in missing information, would that be applicable? So it's more data science than hands-on technology. Um, it's got to have a test site. So it sounds like this is a pretty widespread benefit generated by accessing data. I'm not sure that that would be a great fit in the program. Um, Someone is talking about, I guess, their particular situation, looking at, if you've got shortages of electric power and you want to move to on-site generation and solar, would it fall into the scope of this program? Those sound like pretty normal or certainly proven power sources and technology, structures that exist by companies already today. And so I would say that adding your power generation capabilities with renewables is probably not an eligible project area. Those are the questions I have. So I'm going to say thank you and thanks to everyone who has listened to me answer those questions. I appreciate everyone who submitted them. Always helps us understand where you're all at and what you're looking at. This session was recorded. It will be posted on our website. The applications are live, and you are welcome to send us an email, innovation@cfin-rcia.ca. You can do so in French or in English, and we will support you and help you navigate whether or not this program might be a good fit for your business. We're really looking forward to reading and hearing about some of your applications. And with that, I'll say thank you so much. Thanks for spending some of your afternoon with us, and we'll chat again soon. Thank you.